Hello everyone, it is Rui. Welcome to episode 2 of me building on the island of Amethyst. Since the first episode, I've unlocked terraforming, so while I go take down the cliffs, trees, and get rid of the waterways, I will go over what I did to research the theme of the island, which is elegant core. I'd also like to add that this video is not super refined because I got frustrated with Final Cut Pro. I actually finished episode 2 about a couple weekdays ago, and I tried exporting it and it just couldn't, it just didn't appear in my Finder since I use Apple products. So it didn't appear after I was finished uploading. So I apologize if this video is not as refined, but I will move on with what I did to research Elegant Core. So I looked on YouTube and on Pinterest for what Elegant Core is as its own theme slash general aesthetic. From what I've gathered, a lot of it is creating grand and, pardon if I say this a lot, elegant spaces within your island. There are focuses on symmetry, architectural elements like castles, towers, mansions, and whatnot. There's also a focus on flowers and bushes as well as water features. Like colors that I saw that were common were like white, gold, silver, and particularly blue are what is part of elegant core or what I've seen. Of course, there are sub genres or like sub aesthetics within elegant core, such as European countryside, European city, garden focused, or like tapping into Greek mythology, especially with all of the stargazing DIY recipes that we received from the zodiacs. Although that's not really related, but it goes in that direction. That's what I've seen on YouTube. I'm still unsure which subgenre of elegant core that I want to do, but I'm going to stick with a theme of building like gardens and grand things and see where I go from there. As for flowers and bushes, I will use the pink hydrangea bush because it's close to purple, and I'll use white and purple flowers as well as pink ones sprinkled in, maybe some green mums. And I am very interested in the purple roses and the black roses. Those are one of the flowers that I really want to use and incorporate in some way into the island. But aside from that, I hope everyone's having a good day, afternoon, or night, wherever they are. I am still feeling frustrated during this recording because I've done this recording a couple times and even uploaded the video, like exported it out of Final Cut Pro. But hopefully this time, this project actually gets exported and I can upload it to YouTube. Although, probably by the time this is uploaded, it's already on YouTube. So I'm just crossing my fingers and hoping that it does work. But yes, I am in the process of getting rid of all the trees, so I end up with a lot of wood and sticks along the way from inventory, so I do think this is a win in my book. But after everything is done, here is what the map looks like. So since resident services is so far away from the airport and the resident services where you all will wake up, I will have to start building from there. And yeah, I'm going to start building from resident services. So I basically just clear out the trees and just gather some fruit for myself just in case I need to move anything. So yeah, and while I was building, this conversation came up between Cranston and Punchy that I think everyone should read slash listen to. So I didn't know Cranston thought that way, but also Punchy basically deciding to call my head round and the earth round was just, it was kind of funny to me. And then while I hang out and while I put down this pathing, they also talk again, and it's a pretty tame conversation compared to the one that we just had. So yeah, here it is. Really creative title, Punchy. I actually was tempted to give all the wrong answers, but do you guys see Cranston like sweating like beads? He's like super nervous like right now. So I feel like Punchy quizzed him. He got all the answers wrong, and he's just trying to make sure that, well, Cranston is wrong. I don't know. Is Punchy like a villager that just likes to embarrass Cranston? I don't know. It just seems kind of weird and funny. And he also called me sort of the master. I got all of those wrong, like correct. So I am the master. I don't know. I'm not hitting on Punchy, I'm not hitting on Cranston. It's just really funny that the conversation was like that, because I usually don't super pay attention to the conversations because they're usually talking about food or how talented they are. So there's that. I just think it's like super weird that I'm witnessing these conversations right now. So maybe the lore about Punchy is that he's like a little bit of a snob. I don't know. But he's not snobby at all. So, or maybe it's just Cranston that brings it out of him. Like, he doesn't really like Cranston, but he still keeps him around to entertain himself or something like that. And then when Cranston leaves, I feel like he might turn normal. Like, he'll just talk about what he used to talk about on my previous island. So yeah, here I'm creating like a little garden area park with a fountain, just like a gathering place, like a second gathering place in front of resident services. And this will be the area that everyone will basically just go into, most likely first thing if they come to the dream address, which I'll upload like, you know, by the end of the series. And then when it's up, I'll just update the description with the dream address. But for now, there's nothing. Oh yes, so I haven't actually used the iron garden benches in a while. Same with fountain. I feel like for the past couple of builds that I've had, there's not been a lot of fountains or just the usage of these types of benches, because I've been using like the retro transportation stop and the public bench. So using this type of bench is it's not new since I've used it in the past, and I've tried to create a more elegant city core kind of island. But for this build, completely new, because I haven't used it in a while, so I consider it new. And I know I said I'm going to use the pink hydrangeas, but I think for this build I only use it as a placeholder. I'll be replacing it with the hydrangeas, and it was mostly because Leaf, when he came, he only had azaleas because, you know, they're in season, and the hydrangeas don't go into season until I think the summer, or like early summer maybe, I forget. I don't really keep track of that, but the azaleas were all I had. And so this area actually gets a lot of changes. Well, not a lot, but like a couple of changes, because I keep on deciding like where do I want the bushes, where do I want like other things, like do I want to keep the row partition there, do I want to put something else. So it's just a lot of deciding. And so the time changed because I had dinner, and so post dinner I took a little break and then I started building, and I did gather some hydrangea bushes from Treasure Islands, so I was able to put those down. And I wanted to grab the blue ones because, you know, maybe I'll change my mind or I'll want an area with blue. So there's that. And I'm also outlining the area behind resident services. So my intention is to basically cover up resident services. You can still access it from all points, but for me, I want it to be all covered and make it seem like it's its own, well, it is its own building, but like the plaza is like a border or something like that. Like it covers it. So that's basically what I did. So I wanted to make resident services only accessible by a couple of points and not have it be open like I did for some other builds that I've had. Oh, if I do take any breaks when I'm talking, it's because I'm drinking water. Because I don't know, I think even though it's pretty humid outside, I feel like I lose a lot of the water when I'm talking, or maybe it's since this is non-scripted, I talk randomly and I have to think. So sometimes taking a break to drink water is fine, I guess. And I don't want to make the audio like constantly me talking, which I feel like people are okay with, because some people have said like my videos are relaxing. I'm not sure if it's my voice or anything. Oh right, I had a moment where I was like, oh my gosh, Dobie's sitting on a bench. And I feel like this is one of the times where I don't really see villagers sitting on the floor. Like they're actually sitting on the benches, which amazing. So yeah, I did spend some time after dinner just working on this. I do eat a pretty early dinner. Like I go downstairs at like 4, help my family with some of the food, and then we eat around like 4:30, 4:45. It's pretty quick because we basically we make a big portion at lunch, so then anything left over can be eaten for dinner. Like we just reheat it. I think that's one of the ways that we just have been doing it since the start of COVID, and we just haven't really gone out to restaurants or anything. And we've just become so used to it. So yeah, like dinner is pretty quick. That's why I started working on this at like 5:45-ish, and then I like worked on this until I think 7 maybe. Like I had a lot of time between dinner and going to like, you know, wash my hair and like clean myself, whatever, shower. And I did have some time where I did go to treasure islands and gather stuff, so the round topiaries and the triangular topiaries are from those trips. So I decided to put round topiaries and triangular topiaries instead of a bunch of bushes in the middle. And here, since I decided I want to cover up, you know, the back of resident services, I'm basically planning on putting in walls and cliffs. So I'll put that there. And then I also was thinking of putting a shopping district behind resident services, because that way it's just way more convenient than putting Nook's Cranny and Able Sisters somewhere else. And it's just easier to put it behind resident services, and then I don't get mixed up. And then I could just incorporate the museum and the campsite some other way, which, speaking of campsite, I still haven't thought of what I wanted to do for that. I probably have to like look on some videos on YouTube and do some dream address tours by myself to see what they did with the campsite, because I think that's just one of the things that I find difficult to incorporate, which is the campsite. Especially like when I remember from my Hot Springs build, I had no idea where I wanted to put the campsite, and I ended up putting it by the Kabuki Theater, like near there, and that worked out. But I feel like for some of it, I just have no idea where to put it. So here I'm putting in the cliffs, as I said before. I want to put in the shopping district, so this is basically me setting it up. The shopping district build won't come until the next episode, but then again, the thumbnail doesn't even show the shopping district. It shows something else behind there, which honestly, all I do is put Nook's Cranny and Able Sisters. There's nothing else on the left or right, so I don't even know if I can call it a shopping district, or maybe like a shopping area. I think that'd be okay. But here I'm putting down pathing to basically cut off and layer, like be able to layer and cut off a lot of areas. So here I'm just putting down fences and trees just so I can like do that first and then figure out what I want the layout to be later. But I have no idea. Like, absolutely no idea. This area provided me a lot of struggle. Like, I wanted to put statues, I wanted to put like flowers, but then I thought, oh, it looks kind of weird. And then I realized that it was actually kind of close to the airport, so maybe it could just be like a simple entrance with the sidewalks and stuff, instead of like something like super extreme. And you can see the park fountain. It's so it is 7, so I have been working on this for like over an hour, and honestly this was pretty fun. I feel like I wasn't really thinking too much, which is not difficult for me when it comes to some of these things. Like, I feel like if I know what I want to do sometimes, but I don't have like a super clear, picture, it just works out sometimes for me, which I'm super okay with, but sometimes it doesn't. Like when I made this heart lake, like I remember how to make the heart lake, and I'm pretty sure I got it correct, but I had to Google to make sure that I was actually making a 5x5 square, and then choosing a corner and then making a 2x2 inward, which I definitely made the heart lake correct, and I haven't made a heart lake in a while, so I actually had to Google it, and I just wanted to make sure, just to make sure I was correct, so I wasn't wrong. And I sometimes get like that, like if I spit out a fact about something and then I'm like, wait, is that actually correct? I do double check and I make sure that what I put down was correct, or I just like, I recognize that, like, oh, no, I'm missing like a couple numbers here or something like that, like just something random. And yeah, I don't know, I have a lot of random facts that I keep in my head. Like, I don't know if this is too weird, but since we get coffee from Brewster, I almost forgot his name, oh my god. We get coffee from Brewster and he asks if we want pigeon milk. So I actually looked up, can, pigeons produce milk? And they can. Both, it's either the male or female, especially before they have their eggs hatched, they develop this kind of like milk-like consistency within their gullet, because it actually coats the food that they'll feed to their little baby birds when they hatch, because then it will give them both nutrients and also protect the babies, I guess, from some, like, I don't know, anything. Again, I'll probably look this up after the recording and after the video to make sure, but that's what I remember. Like, it's so significant because I was like, pigeon milk, that has to be real, right? So then when I looked up the fact, I was like, wait, does Brewster think that we're like his baby birds? Because if he has pigeon milk on demand, does that mean he makes it and then he puts it in the carafe? Really big questions that I've had for so long, and I feel like I've had it, but I didn't realize it until now talking about it. So maybe next time if he shows up on my island, I'll definitely film it, and I'm going to say no to pigeon milk, maybe. Although I think I do say yes every time, because it's like, it's something so rare that rarely happens, that he offers it, or at least to me, that I'm like, yeah, sure, give me some of that pigeon milk. So I don't know, I think Brewster produces his own pigeon milk or something. Although, is he classified as a pigeon? I would have to Google that, because I'm pretty sure he is. I'm going to look this up, so I'm going to type, and hopefully my voice has this. So Brewster, is he a pigeon? Yes, he is a pigeon. Oh, so he does produce his own pigeon milk. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna chalk it up to him like thinking we're his children. But this is kind of weird. I'm sorry if I like ruined someone's day over this fact, but it's a fact. I think it's amazing, especially with birds. But in the context of Animal Crossing, it's kind of like, what? So yeah. And then from this footage, off topic, but on topic, I wanted to make some water features here, because, as I said, one of the pillars of elegant core or water features like very complicated stuff, but I feel like for an entrance, later on I get rid of this, but for an entrance, and I'm gonna say this now, I don't want to put in anything complicated until we get further into the island, if that makes sense. Like, I'll include some waterfalls here and there, some water terraforming, but I want to stick with something that is not too complicated yet, because I don't know, I just don't want to. Like, I want to put it in the other parts of the island, like for example the museum. Like, I want to make it like this grand, like this huge build, and that's gonna be a lot of time for me to record and sift through the footage. That I think the museum build, if I'm not jinxing myself, might be close to an hour. It might be 1 hour video that I will probably talk through. And if you all have any ideas, I feel like I would want to put in segments where I talk about different things. Like, I've mentioned talking about watching TV and just random stuff. Like, I could talk about animal facts, like I just did right now. But, I could talk about TV, like maybe like a recent TV show that I've seen, or a movie, like a section of that, because I can't just talk about the build for an hour. Because I want you guys to also not only learn about the build, but also to learn about me as the creator. So yeah, here I actually wanted to put in the roses, but later on I decided not to. But I am ahead, so I might incorporate those, but that'll be in later episodes. So these flowers here, ignore them, they're not going to be there for long. I just included it in the recording because, again, I also want to show how the island changes over time. Like, there might be areas where I could really change my mind. I, work on it off camera, I don't record, or I forget to record, or I hit pause on the record button on OBS, and then I just end up like building for hours, and then I'm like, oh wait, I actually forgot to hit unpause. So yeah, but I think this is actually the next day, so I didn't actually time travel. So I'm taking this build one day at a time. Also, ever since I got Hulu with the Disney Plus add-on, I've been able to watch a lot of stuff like ad-free, because on my Hulu I have no ads, but Disney Plus I have with ads. So there's like some stuff that I'm able to watch like ad-free. So lately I have been not only consuming my Law & Order SVU episodes. I'm on season 19, by the way. I think I'm close to season 20. I'm on the episode where Noah gets lost, so there's that. But I have been trying to give some Marvel shows that that were released years ago that I just didn't really watch. So one of them is Punisher. I think so far it's been pretty interesting to watch. It is kind of slow, but I think that's pretty cool pacing. And one of the actors that plays the role of Micro, he's also in The Bear, and I liked his performance in The Bear, so I'm interested in his performance in The Punisher. So there's that. And yeah, I think that's all I've been watching. I did plan on doing a Black Butler rewatch, but that requires me to actually pay attention because I actually have to read the subtitles, and even though I did talk about my language studies and stuff failing, and I'm failing to do that now. I'm not keeping myself accountable with language studies. I think mostly because building this has been taking a lot of my time, and I've also started exercising, which yay, proud of myself for doing that. So I'm probably going to put language learning on hold or whatever. I don't know. I feel bad for myself. I told myself I would do this, but then I just give up. well, I didn't give up. I'm putting it on pause. Let's just go with that. I'm putting things on pause. So, yeah, I'm blanking. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, most of the builds I just like end up clearing a lot of trees, which, oh my god, I'm deforesting my island. That's really sad, but it's okay. I'll just I will add more trees anyways, so it's fine. Yeah. Oh, Punchy gave me this pretty cool hat, and that means we're besties now. So, yay. And I actually didn't notice that this left side of resident services was not even or symmetrical until a little bit later. So I fixed where the tree was, and honestly, building symmetrical things again is really taking me back to like a couple years ago, and I'm pretty happy with it. It's like so satisfying to make something symmetrical and have it work instead of not work. So there's that. And then here I'm marking down the stairs that I want to have on this side so I can like access the shopping area, because I want it to be on the second level. I don't want it to be on the first level. And I just put down the same pathing on both sides, again symmetrical. So yeah, it's been pretty fun doing the symmetrical stuff. It's just not fun when I have to run back and forth, and that takes up a lot of time in the footage, which I guess is fine, but it's annoying to me because I'm like, I have to go back and forth, especially if you do like really big and grand symmetrical builds. You have to travel sometimes a really long distance, so maybe I'll have to make use of the pipe for even if it's a shorter distance than if I go from one side of the island to another. So there's that. Oh yeah, I also used the Tree Bounties lamp. I really like the second color swatch, so I'm using that, and display stands will also be used throughout the island. I really like incorporating that in the builds, and I haven't really had a chance to use the display stands before. Also, the fact that the villagers are enjoying the flowers is really heartwarming to me. I don't know why. It's just really cute when they engage in the flora and fauna of the island, I guess. Right, I also want to use a lot more pergolas. I wanted to use it in this area, but it just didn't work out. It just didn't. And this area was like so difficult for me because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, and that's like why I kind of ended it like around here, and instead just decided to leave that area alone, which I do leave it alone until maybe third episode? No, wait. Fourth episode, I think. So there's that, but I'm just like setting it up for the next episode, but we should be reaching the end of the build. So this is what the front area looks like for resident services, just garden area with Valiant statues, topiaries, fountains, heart lakes, and all that cute stuff that I really like. So this build took me about a couple hours, and I hope you all enjoyed my commentary, especially about pigeon milk. And here's Raymond walking through the castle gate, which I didn't plan for. Yeah. So if you've watched until the end, listened to the end, I really appreciate it. Thank you for watching. I will be working on the shopping area and the area behind Nook's Cranny and Apple Sisters in the next episode, so please look forward to that. So with that, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!